Corporate-controlled right-wing propaganda hate media isn't. You're welcome. That's Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon, right here on KSHP. Be there.
The Dr. Annette Show, Saturday morning at 7 on KSHP, North Las Vegas, AM and FM, K29, 6HP, North Las Vegas, and KSHP.com.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
It's time for the most interactive radio program in Las Vegas today. It's time for Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro. Brian will talk sports, politics, entertainment, and anything that matters to you. Feel free to call Brian at 702-221-7283.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Now, Pushing the Limits, here's Brian Shapiro.
Hey, what's going on, man? Happy... What day is it today? Yes, it's Wednesday. I get my days mixed up. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Pushing Limits. The day before Thanksgiving. Yes, I hope everybody's going to have a wonderful holiday. We do have a lot to get to. And a lot to talk about today, including some very bizarre, anti-Semitic, weird comments that Susan Sarandon's been making the last few days. Well, she's going to be paying for them now. We're going to be talking about that. There definitely is an agreement between Hamas and Israel. We're going to get into that as well. I do want to start with some breaking news. And this just happened in the last hour. Bridges that are connecting Canada and the U.S. are now closed after an explosion on the American side on the Rainbow Bridge. Now, this is a really weird story because here's what we know, and we don't know a lot right now, but here's what we do know. 2 men that were in the car were killed. The car exploded. The car was accelerating at very high rates of speed. And this is a bizarre story. Listen, we don't know for sure whether this is terrorism or not. But what I will tell you, in most cases, when it is some sort of terrorist attack, terrorists want to kill as many people as possible, and it appears as though one border security officer was injured. But luckily, nobody else was killed other than the 2 people in the car. So I'm not going to sit here because I don't know. I don't know. We're going to wait for the authorities to investigate and then tell us everything. But what we do know is that there was an explosion. 2 people are dead. There were explosives in the car. Now, we don't know if those were explosives meant to hurt or injure or kill people. We just don't know. As I said, what we do know is that the car started going at a very high rate of speed, hit a curb, flew over a barrier across the road, and landed in a secondary inspection area at the border station. This is a very bizarre story. Could this have been a plot to kill a bunch of people with these explosives in the car? Yes. I guess that could be possible. We don't know. So, investigation is ongoing here, but again, what we do know is that the 2 people that were in the car are deceased. There was a large explosion. 1 security officer was injured, non-life-threatening injuries. That's all we know at this point, and I would imagine within a few hours, we're probably going to get a lot more information on what took place. But I've seen some videos of this explosion. It's kind of wild, and this just happened in the last hour on the American side of the border. And if there's any new information that we can bring to you in the next hour, we will certainly bring it to you. But that is the latest that I have for you right now. And if there's any new information, I will share it with you as we go on. I do have some good news to report when it surrounds the Israel-Hamas and the terrorists. At least I consider it good news. There has been a truce for hostages in a deal between Israel and Hamas. It brings a 4-day halt in the fighting in this devastating 6-week war. There have been a bunch of hostages, and there still are, that are being held in Gaza by Hamas, women, children. And there are also Palestinian prisoners as well. So as far as what the details are and what I can tell you, here's what we know as far as this deal goes. 50 hostages will be released in stages in exchange for what Hamas said would be 150 Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. Now, Here's the difference, because I see a lot of people on social media saying, you know, these 150 Palestinian prisoners are innocent women and children. No, that is not true. The prisoners that are being held by Israel are those that were sentenced in a court of law in Israel that have committed crimes. The people that are hostages, not prisoners, hostages by Hamas are innocent people, most of them Israelis, that have never committed a crime. Just completely innocent people that have been taken hostage. I remind you, the people that are imprisoned, the Palestinian prisoners, are those that have committed crimes that have been found guilty. That is a very, very important distinction here, because I see a lot of people on social media saying, Israel took hostages too, innocent women and children. No, that's not true. Now, a lot of people would also be saying, well, this isn't a really good deal for Israel. You're releasing terrorists, 150 prisoners for 50 innocent people. No, it's probably not a good deal for Israel. But at the same time, if you're one of those Israeli hostages' families, you think it is a good deal, and you want your families, members of your family, to come home. So it's a very difficult situation. If Hamas really wanted peace, then they would say, hey, we're going to give you all the hostages, no more war, ceasefire, end it right now. But Hamas won't do that because they want to kill innocent people. This was the only way that Israel could get some of those hostages home. So I commend them for doing that, even though I know that this is a very difficult deal and a lot of people would find it to not be a very good one. And listen, they might be right on that. But the bottom line here is that some innocent people are going home. With that being said, some hostages too are, I guess the best word to describe some of them would be terrorist, right? They're being released by the Israeli government as well. So, listen, this isn't the perfect deal, right? At the same time, getting some of those hostages, or to be released is a good thing. So let's just start with the positive there. There is a ceasefire for the next several days, so let's hope that both parties abide by that ceasefire, and let's take it from there. But this is certainly a positive, hopefully a step in the right direction, and we'll see how this thing plays out. So while all this stuff is going on, and you have innocent people that are taken hostage and innocent lives taken, whether that be Israeli lives or Palestinian lives, innocent people dying, there's a lot of stupidity throughout this country on what exactly is taking place. Let me start with some California Democrats. Yes, some California Democrats shut down Adam Schiff's speech to demand a ceasefire now. Have a listen to what this sounded like. So what these ignorant people don't seem to really understand is that Hamas has broken ceasefire multiple times, over and over and over again. And if there is a ceasefire, Hamas is going to break that ceasefire. So for all you people out there that want a ceasefire, to me it makes absolutely and positively no sense. And the reason why it makes no sense, I mention this again, because Hamas has broken multiple ceasefires. Multiple ceasefires. So if there's a ceasefire, it will be broken by Hamas, and Hamas is a terrorist organization that's going to kill as many innocent people as possible. They want to exterminate all the Jews. I don't know why that's so hard for some of you to understand. Now, that's not the only disruption. I mean, we're seeing disruptions all over the country. There was another one with a panel with Congresswoman Shontel Brown and Congressman Max Miller. During this disturbance, agitators shouted inflammatory statements such as Israel is a terrorist state. They echoed the Hamas call for the eradication of Israel from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. There's one man that's an employee with the city of Cleveland who you hear shouting out as well. Have a listen to this.
To get me out, because you had the opportunity to sign the ceasefire resolution, provided members of your own party to stop the ceaseless killing of Palestinians at the hands of the IDF.
Completely ignorant people, stupid people that don't understand the history of Hamas, don't understand what a ceasefire is and what it's done. Just completely stupid idiots. And again, this guy who apparently is an employee with the city of Cleveland, listen to his words here.
Get your facts straight! Israel is a terrorist state! You're both supporting genocide!
This guy doesn't even know what genocide is. Genocide, the actual definition of genocide, is trying to wipe out, an attempt to wipe out or wiping out a certain group of people. It could be religion, could be color of skin, whatever the case may be. That's genocide. Israel is not doing that. If there's anybody that is guilty of genocide, it's the terrorist group Hamas. But this guy obviously doesn't even know what the definition of genocide is. Are there innocent Palestinian people that are being killed? Absolutely. Israel is not trying to exterminate all Palestinians or all Muslims from the face of the earth. 50 nations across the world where Muslims can do whatever the heck they want to do, say whatever the heck they want to say. Then you have this one small country, very small, called Israel. I'm sorry, but Israel is not committing genocide. That is absolutely 100% not true. And then we go to Susan Sarandon. I interviewed Susan Sarandon years back when she was supporting Bernie Sanders for president of the United States. I've always admired her. I've always admired her as an actress, and I always thought her to be an intelligent and a very nice person and a great actress. I think a little differently about Susan Sarandon today. Why? Because she has made some anti-Semitic statements and some absurd statements at several rallies over the course of the last week or so. Here's one of the statements that she made that is making the headlines.
There are a lot of people that are afraid of being Jewish at this time and are getting a taste of what it feels like to be a Muslim in this country, so often subjected to violence.
Has Susan Sarandon heard of the Holocaust? Does she understand that 7 million Jews were murdered? Is she ignorant to those facts? She said that Jews are finally getting a taste of what Muslims have to deal with. Let me explain to Susan Sarandon again that there are 50 nations across the world where Muslims are allowed to do whatever they want to do, practice their religion, say and do whatever they want, and live free. Israel has this one small country out there and one small piece of land out there, and Susan Sarandon is making it like Jewish people have not been oppressed, but Muslims have. They're just idiotic statements and ridiculous statements. And then she made more statements at another rally. Have a listen to this.
So many people do not understand the context in which this October 7th assault happened. They don't understand the history of what has been happening to the Palestinian people for 75 years.
So my question to Susan Sarandon would be this. What does that have to do with a terrorist organization in Hamas that has been a terrorist organization for decades, killing innocent people, trying to kill as many Jews as possible, using Palestinians as human shields? Why is it she doesn't want to talk about that? And for those of you out there that say that we need a ceasefire, and there needs to be a ceasefire because there's a lot of people like that across the country that are holding these pro-Palestinian rallies, can I remind you that Hamas has broken multiple ceasefire agreements in its history, and if there was an immediate long-term ceasefire, Hamas would break that ceasefire again, I guarantee you. The idea that Susan Sarandon and the anti-Semitic spewage that she is throwing out there at some of these rallies is dangerous. And it incites more anti-Semitism and possibly violence. And there's a reason why Susan Sarandon, one of her talent agencies, dropped her, because her comments are despicable and they're ignorant. If you want to call to end violence, and you want to call and you really truly care about these innocent Palestinians that are being killed, and you care about these innocent Israelis that are being killed, I care about both, then the first thing you need to do is call out Hamas. Because on October 7th, this terrorist group decided to behead babies, put kids in ovens, chop off fingers of children, chop off the breasts of mothers, innocent women, gouge out the eyes of fathers in front of their kids. So if you want to use the term genocide, we all need to start with Hamas. And then if you want to continue that conversation on how the Middle East, we can have peace in the Middle East, then I think that's an important conversation to have. But we all need to remember that this started with Hamas. And if you want to make the argument, which I know some of you like to make, that this is stolen land and that Israel should not cease to exist, and if you want to make those statements, first of all, this happened in the early 1940s. Many, if not all, the people that may have been responsible for something that you don't like, that you think should not have happened, are not even alive anymore. There are innocent people in Israel that had nothing to do with what took place in the early 1940s. So if you want to defend a terrorist group of Hamas going in there and killing babies and raping women, then there's something wrong with you. We all need to begin the conversation by admitting and owning the fact that Hamas is a terrorist organization, and they are the ones that committed genocide. Hamas has no regard for human life. They don't just want to kill innocent Jewish people. They've killed their own people. But I don't hear all these pro-Palestinian ralliers out there calling that out. All the innocent people that Hamas has killed, the Palestinian people. This is good for the Palestinians and it's good for the Israelis if Hamas is wiped off the face of the planet. It's good for both parties. It's good for both sides. But Susan Sarandon is ignorant. Susan Sarandon has absolutely no idea what she's talking about. And I would imagine and I would guess that Susan Sarandon has a little bit anti-Semitism in her. Has she called out Hamas? When you make a statement like, Jewish people have a little bit of taste of what it's like to be Muslim, it is an idiotic statement, and you are basically saying that Israelis and Jewish people, not just in Israel but across the world, don't know what it's like to be the victims of hate crimes or anti-Semitism, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Why don't we ask the people that died in that synagogue shooting that were praying, innocent Jewish people in Pittsburgh? Do they not, and their families, not know what it's like to be the victims? Like maybe a Muslim has been a victim? Very ignorant statements by Susan Sarandon. Very dumb. What about all these terrorists in Hamas that are still holding hostages, innocent women and children? What would we say about that? Susan Sarandon's comments are stupid, they incite violence, and it's hateful rhetoric. And it's wrong, quite frankly. And we see these rallies all over the country, these people throughout the country. Throughout the country, some call them pro-Palestinian rallies. I think many of them are pro-Hamas rallies. And what do we hear? We hear some of these people saying that Jews should be exterminated. A Hitler-esque type phrase. How can you have a conversation with somebody who believes that? There are actually people with jobs in this country that are going on social media that are losing their jobs because they're making idiotic, anti-Semitic, hateful statements like that. It can't be tolerated. How do you have a conversation with somebody like that? I know I can't. You know, what do you think Israel should do differently? A lot of people think that there should be a ceasefire, particularly those people that are at these pro-Palestinian rallies. They believe that there should be a ceasefire and that Israel is the state that's committing genocide. Well, you're wrong. Are innocent Palestinians dying? Yes, innocent people die when countries go to war. I wish that wasn't the case. I don't want anybody innocent to lose their life. But keep in mind, Israel would not be on the attack in the last several weeks if not for what took place on October 7th. Now, if you could show me evidence that Israel goes into another country, captures innocent people, beheads babies, burns kids alive in ovens, chops off the fingers of children, gouging out eyes, raping women. If you could show me evidence that Israel and Israeli troops are doing that, then I will absolutely call that out as the same. But that is not what Israel is doing now. They are bombing Hamas. Innocent people are dying. I wish that wasn't the case, but Israel has the right to defend themselves. And this is, listen, this is where I agree with a lot of people on the right. Israel has the right to defend themselves. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't do everything in their power to try to limit the innocent civilians that are dying. When you give fair warning where you're going to be bombing, and when you give fair warning, hey, you better move south, you better get out of this area because this is where we're going to be attacking, what else do you want them to do? Just roll their hands up in the air and say, hey, you know what, ceasefire, there's nothing really we can do. There's always going to be bad people in the world. No, this was Israel's 9/11, what took place on October 7th. This is Israel's 9/11. I don't understand the people out there that don't believe that Israel has a right to defend themselves. I'm sorry, I just don't get it. I'm not one of those people that wants anybody innocent to die. But if you're Palestinian and you don't call out Hamas, it could be because you're afraid to call out Hamas, you're afraid of your life taken. How many innocent Palestinians have died because of Hamas? And we know that the Iranian government has funded them. And that is why we should never give any assistance to the Iranian government ever again. Never again. Done. Because they are an evil, murderous regime, and they support terrorists. Just like back in the day, September 11th, before and after Al-Qaeda, we dismembered Al-Qaeda. It wasn't just good for the United States of America. It was good for the world. Same thing with Hamas. They have the same ideology. Trust me, if Hamas had it their way, if they could get into this country and infiltrate this country, and these terrorists could get in here, they would do the exact same to us as they did to the Israelis on October 7th. Mark my words on that one. They would do the exact same thing. I'll take some phone calls on this, 702-221-7283. And again, this number, 702-221-7283. If you'd like to be a part of the program, 702-221-SAVE. Your thoughts on Susan Sarandon's comments. Susan Sarandon making a statement saying, well, now Jewish people have a taste of what it's like to be Muslim. I find it to be anti-Semitic. I find it to be ignorant and beyond repugnant and stupid. And I will always think differently about Susan Sarandon. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll take your phone calls on the other side. Again, that number, 702-221-7283. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. We'll take some phone calls on the other side. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits here. I want to tell you guys about my good friends at the Postal Annex. They have a notary signing agent on-site daily, no appointment needed, and they offer a full scale of printing services from shipping labels to documents, business cards, banners, photos, and business signage. They're your passport service headquarters. They offer passport photos, and they can renew your adult passports. If you're traveling in a hurry, they can get those passports to you within 7 days or less. Mailbox rentals with a physical street address, and they also receive your packages from Amazon, UPS, FedEx, USPS, and more. Here's the best part. If you're a Pushing the Limits listener, they have an introductory rate of only $39 for a 3-month service. You can't beat it. Give them a call, 702-873-8005. Check them out at 6130 West Flamingo Road. It's the Postal Annex. And tell them I sent you.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Wynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Wynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
STN Sports is the only sports betting app you need this season. STN Sports has it all. In-play betting, mobile parlay cards, the Play Plus card to fund and withdraw from anywhere in Nevada, and the latest lines on every game. STN Sports even lets you earn rewards on every bet. Safe and easy betting from your phone or tablet. Go to stationcasinosports.com or sign up at any Station Casino, Fiesta Wildfire, or the El Cortez. Details at the sportsbooks.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for joining us. And we got Blake Wynn from the Keller Williams Group joining us in hour number 2. Looking forward to that. If you're just joining us, we're talking about this Israel-Hamas. At least it's a 4-day agreement. And the agreement as follows is Hamas is releasing 50 innocent Israelis that were taken as hostage in return for 150 Palestinians that were imprisoned in Israel. It's also very important to note that these people that were imprisoned in Israel have been convicted of crimes. These are not innocent people. There are some people on social media that would like to lead you to believe that these are innocent women and children. That is not true. So I want to be very clear on that. The innocent people are the 50 Israelis that were captured by Hamas. And to start off this conversation, it's important to note that Hamas is a terrorist organization. You have to start off the conversation by calling it for what it is. If you disagree with Israel and you disagree with the way they're handling this situation, fine, I'm willing to have that conversation with you. But if you can't admit to me that Hamas is a terrorist organization, then I really don't know what to tell you. I would also say that Israel has a right to defend themselves. They also have a responsibility to try to save lives and not kill innocent Palestinians. I certainly understand that. But they also have a right to defend themselves. And I hear these ignorant, stupid celebrities, very few of them, thank God, but some of them, like Susan Sarandon, spewing her anti-Semitic rhetoric. Listen to what Susan Sarandon had to say at a recent rally.
There are a lot of people that are afraid of being Jewish at this time and are getting a taste of what it feels like to be a Muslim in this country, so often subjected to violence.
Jews are finally getting a taste of what it's like to be a Muslim in this country and subjected to violence. What the hell is Susan Sarandon talking about? 7 million Jews were massacred and murdered during the days of Nazi Germany, Adolf Hitler. Susan Sarandon maybe needs to go back to school and take a second grade civics and history class. Are you kidding me? If you listen to Susan Sarandon, she would lead you to believe that Jewish people before October 7th have never been the victims of hate crimes. Now, obviously, she's wrong. She's ignorant. But the dangers behind this is that when you have somebody like that with a huge platform make really stupid statements like that, could lead to violence. A la Donald Trump. The election was stolen. It was rigged. Joe Biden cheated. The Democrats cheated. Joe Biden is an illegitimate president. Then we have something called the January 6th insurrection where innocent people die. And over 140 officers are injured. Because when you especially when you have a large platform, you need to be very careful with the words that you use, because sometimes you could say things that could incite violence. And make no mistake about it, what Susan Sarandon said, again, gives people an opportunity to be anti-Semitic and to be spewing in the hatred and the ignorance of some people in this country. And it's wrong. So I'm glad that Susan Sarandon lost a job. I'm glad that somebody dumped her, and it continued. Susan Sarandon continued with the hateful rhetoric at another rally over the weekend. Have a listen to this.
So many people do not understand the context in which this October 7th assault happened. They don't understand the history of what has been happening to the Palestinian people for 75 years.
Yeah, with all due respect to Susan Sarandon, she doesn't understand her own history of what's been going on to the Jewish people for 75 years or however many years. Has she heard of the Holocaust? Does she not think that there's nobody out there that's Jewish that's been the victim of a hate crime? It makes absolutely no sense to me. All right, open up the phone line, 702-221-7283. And again, the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation, 702-221-7283. Let's start off with Felix. Hello, Felix, are you there? You think this is funny? All right, pot him down. You know, it's funny that, when talking about war, when talking about innocent people that have lost their lives, could be innocent Jewish people, could be innocent Palestinian people, that there are some people out there that think it's funny. They think it's all a joke. That's really sad. There's a time and a place to have fun, and there's a time and a place to talk about very serious topics like this one. I had a conversation yesterday about the head coach at LSU, the head women's basketball coach. And she went up there at a press conference, sneezing and coughing, and she made a joke about COVID, right? We know a virus that has killed over 1 million people in this country. And she said, I might have the flu. I'm not getting a COVID test. And then she started laughing about the possibility of getting a COVID test. That's exactly the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. There's no excuse for making jokes about the vaccination. There's no excuse about making jokes about COVID. And when you're the leader of a group and you make a statement like that, it's downright disgusting. It's abhorrent. And it's wrong. Here's Kim Mulkey at a press conference a few days ago making a joke about COVID. Have a listen to this.
I ain't a sissy. I don't have allergies. I got some kind of cold. It might be COVID, but I ain't tested. No, it's sinus. I don't know what you call it. Allergies, flu. I don't know. So if y'all get the flu, blame me during Thanksgiving, right?
What an ignorant woman making a joke, and you hear that stupid laugh. I ain't getting the COVID test. She thinks it's really funny. Tell that to the over 1 million families in this country that have lost loved ones to COVID. It's despicable. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Ahmad. Ahmad, you're next on Pushing the Limits. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How about you, brother?
Doing good, Ahmad. What's on your mind today?
Yes. Do you think nominating Joe Biden is a mistake?
What do you mean nominating Joe Biden? You mean re-electing him? Be a little bit more specific.
Yes, renominating him
no.
is going to be a mistake.
Okay, so here's my opinion on Joe Biden, Ahmad, and I'll try to give you the best answer I can. If it's Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, like back in 2020, I voted for Joe Biden, not because it was a Joe Biden vote. It was an anti-Donald Trump vote. I think it would have been.
Same thing.
Right, okay. So right now, Ahmad, I don't want Joe Biden to run again. I think he's too old. If it's Joe Biden versus Trump again, I'm going to have no choice but to vote for Joe Biden. But I'll be honest with you, I'd rather see some other people on the Democratic side run. So to answer your question, I think it's a mistake, yes, to nominate Joe Biden for re-election. It's a mistake for the Democrats to do so. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but that's how I feel.
Yes, I do agree with you because it's not 2020, okay? And the problem is, let's be honest, Biden is just like cannot talk. He just repeat himself. Like when you see every speech, like he always say, "If we do it together, no, there's no country can beat us."
Well, he's old.
He's
old. He's old. He's 80 years old. He's 81 years old. He's old, right?
Yes, I know. But let me get to my point. The Republican Party and Trump did a great job by painting the Trump presidency as a great presidency. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't.
So one second. Let me tell you why I'm saying this. My neighbor voted for Biden, okay, and I was having a conversation with him, and he was saying about how prices were great, the economy was great, and he was saying like everyone the economy was great. It's good until 2020, okay, but a lot of people forgot about the COVID era and how terrible job Donald Trump did.
Right.
Because why? Because Biden cannot message, let's be honest. And can you imagine him debating Donald Trump in 2024? It's
Well,
going
I
to be
mean,
embarrassing.
I can.
And
He debated Donald Trump in 2020, and more Americans voted for
it was
Joe Biden.
embarrassing.
Well, I mean, I think part of that embarrassment was Donald Trump
let me tell you
interrupting.
something.
I think the embarrassment was the way Donald Trump debated. Quite frankly, I thought Joe Biden did okay. Doesn't mean I want him to run again, but I think he did all right.
No. Like if you watch that debate, it was like he's like cannot like finish it. It's like I don't know, like got lost a lot and all that stuff. But here's the point: I voted for Biden because I did not want Trump. Okay, and not a lot of people feel the same like me right now, and I am so goddamn worried. There is like Project 25. That's gonna happen.
Okay, so hold on. I'm trying to understand.
Biden is at 36.
I understand.
No
I'm worried as well.
president
I understand.
Got reelected.
I understand what you're saying. I'm worried as well. I'm with you. But let me ask you a question. If it was Trump Biden right now, who would you vote for?
I will vote for Biden absolutely.
Yeah.
I will not vote for Trump. Like
right. Listen, I have
our
the same
democracy is so precious.
I understand. I'm with you. Listen,
just
we have
give it back to
Ahmad. We
Trump.
have the same concerns, right? I'm very concerned as well. Joe Biden needs to step aside and needs someone else to run. Now, listen, that could be Gavin Newsom, whoever. You need someone else to step in there that's younger. Joe Biden's ego is getting in the way. I personally believe.
It's about ego.
And
that's correct.
Right. And listen, I don't think Joe Biden is a despicable person, right? I have respect for him and his wife, who's a very intelligent lady. The problem is ego. And the Democratic Party need to find a way to get Joe Biden out of there, and they need to do it sooner than later and say, listen, you got to step aside. I believe Gavin Newsom, like him or not, would be a good replacement, and I believe he would
defeat. It's a good option.
Yes, he would defeat Donald Trump. He's a better speaker. He's extremely intelligent. He's eloquent. Regardless of what you think of whether he did a great job or not in California or whether he's doing a good job or not, Joe Biden needs to get out of there. And somebody, can you imagine Joe Biden at the age of 84? As the president? I mean, I'm sorry. I just think you got to get somebody else in there. If the Democrats allow this to happen and they allow Joe Biden to run again and they lose to Donald Trump, you don't blame the Republicans for this. You blame the Democrats and you blame Joe Biden.
Yes. They will blame the progressive, let me be honest, as they did with Hillary. Hillary did a terrible job campaigning. She has she did not go to Wisconsin. She only visited like Michigan two or three times.
She had a bad campaign.
Like
I agree. She did not campaign well.
And I think I believe from the bottom of my heart that Biden is going to lose. I'm in the state of Pennsylvania.
I hope you're wrong.
I see a lot of people are not going to vote for him, and I talked with my coworkers about democracy and all that stuff. And you know what the response was? If you cannot if this democracy cannot be protected by Trump, by Biden, it's why are we defending this democracy? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here in the next year, Ahmed. Donald Trump obviously facing a lot of legal troubles, but I can tell you this: we're very divided as a country.
He's not going to be in jail because you see they postponed his trials and all that stuff. You know how rich people in this country, they get like free pass. So I think it's like saying they are going to put him in jail is just delusional.
I'm concerned about a lot of what you brought up. For example, the attacks on our democracy. Trump's already said he's going to tear up parts of the Constitution. He's going to go after every single person that's not liked some of his policies or not supported him. It's going to be 4 years of retribution.
I think he will not be able to do all that because I think the court defended our democracy in 2020, okay, and by judges who were appointed by him. So I don't think like he is going to stay like into the American experiment, in my opinion, because I think the legal system in America is good. Like,
well, I'm going to tell you this though.
He's not going to end it. And I think if he is like, when he will go home in 2028.
Well, I'm going to tell you this.
The damages, what I'm saying this is like with his policies, like appointing 3 conservative judges and all that stuff. All what's happening is like fear mongering and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like the justice system in America is like the courts, like they did in 2020. They hold the line. Even the Supreme Court, when they brought, do you remember the Texas lawsuit?
Yes, of course.
They were like, "Oh my God, he was gonna stay in," and
I gotta conclude.
Supreme
Ahmed.
Court, they did not even heard the case.
I understand. Listen, Ahmed, there's most people in this country, you and I included, do not want to see Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. But I'm going to tell you this right now because it's the truth, and I always speak the truth on this show. But this is my opinion. The only thing that stops Donald Trump or Joe Biden from running is if they die. Now, I don't want that to happen. I'm not rooting for that. But unless Joe Biden or Donald Trump dies, they're both going to be the front runner. Trump for the Republicans, of course, and Biden for the Democrats.
Yeah.
Most Americans, I think it's like 8 or 9 out of 10 Americans don't want to see Trump versus Biden. But I hate to say that's exactly what we're going to see, and it's really pathetic and it's sad.
Yes, and if you see Jimmy Carter, Bush the dad, Donald Trump, they were all in their 30s. None of them won re-election. The Democrats, like I heard them saying about Obama, it's all fucking bullshit.
Whoa, watch language.
It's
gotta go.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, Ahmed. I appreciate the call, sir. Thank you so much. Gotta watch the language, of course, because we're on the radio, but I appreciate the call. 702-221-7283. And again, the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation, 702-221-7283. Most people feel the way Ahmed feels. And I feel, because I think we have a lot that we agree upon. And most of this country does not want to see Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. Now, listen, I'd be the first one to say, for an 81-year-old, I think Joe Biden's doing just fine. The man is old, right? He's 81 years old. Doesn't mean he has Alzheimer's. Doesn't mean that he's in the bunker. The man is your typical 81-year-old. Some 81-year-olds are a little bit more vibrant. Some are worse. Also coming from a guy who's had a stuttering problem his whole life. He makes mistakes. I would imagine he's not getting a lot of sleep these days. The president of the United States is a very demanding job. He's your typical average 81-year-old. With that being said, that doesn't change my opinion. The Democratic Party needs to say to themselves, the polls aren't looking too good. You know, Trump is beating Biden in certain polls. We need to find somebody younger. We need to get Joe Biden to step aside. And Joe Biden, for the American people, needs to step aside. That doesn't mean that I want Kamala Harris running for president, because that would be a disaster. I can tell you right now, Donald Trump would beat her, as he would say, in a landslide. And if he did say that, I would agree with him. She is not going to be a good president. It would be a worse situation than Hillary Clinton. She does not resonate with the American people. She is not good with the media. And she would not get the votes that even a Hillary Clinton got. It would not be good, and Donald Trump would defeat her. But I could see Gavin Newsom coming in there and defeating Donald Trump. I could absolutely see that happening. Now, I know that Michelle Obama is not interested in running. If she did run, she would wipe the slate clean with just about everybody. Trump or anybody. Michelle Obama would be, there would be no concern for me. She would be the next president of the United States, and she would be the first female president of the United States. Hands down, no question. But I think I'm speaking truth here when I say the inevitable. It's going to be Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. I don't know what's going to happen. I can tell you that I'm worried. I could also tell you that, yes, I believe if the elections were to be held tomorrow, Joe Biden would still win. I think it would be close. But I think Joe Biden would still win re-election. But I don't want to take that chance. I want somebody younger in there in office that'll get up on a stage and not take what Donald Trump has given them. Number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation, 702-221-7283. And again, that number, 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Edward. Edward, what's up, my man?
Hey, Brian, how's it going? Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you and all your listeners and everyone out there, man. Happy Thanksgiving to y'all.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, my friend. What's on your mind?
Nothing much, man. I wasn't going to get into topics, but you brought up one a little while ago, and I was thinking about the Israel-Hamas thing. And, we always hear about the word peace. Like, everybody wants peace, but does everyone really want peace, or do they want power?
Well, let me put it to you this way, Edward. It's a good it's a good question.
Yeah.
There are Muslims all over the world, 50 countries all over the world. They are able to practice their religion. They have freedoms to do whatever they want to do, right? And live their life and be with their families. Israel,
as we all should.
Correct. Israel has a very, very small piece of land, a small country in the Middle East, and that's all they have. And if Israel wanted to get rid of all the Palestinians, which, by the way, is not true, then why would there be over 1 million people? There's over 1 million Palestinians right now, many of them Muslims, that are living in Israel. If Israel wanted to get rid of those people, then why would there be over 1 million? It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard when people make that statement that Israel is a terrorist state and they want to commit genocide. There's over 1 million Palestinians living in Israel. It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I didn't call today to bring up the blood pressure today because, it's the holidays coming up. It's more laid back, chill. You know what I mean? Like, save all that heat for the turkey and, stuffing and things. So save all your anger for all the relatives that you don't like it. You have to deal with once a year. You know what I'm saying? You want to be angry. You want to save that. You want to save that anger. That save it for the uncle that you don't like, and he comes over, he gets drunk, and he's a
I'll tell you where my heart is, Edward. And of course, we want to spend time with our families, and that's so precious. And I'll be doing the same. But I'll tell you where my heart is right now. I'm thinking of all the innocent people that have died. Notice how I'm not saying innocent Israelis. I'm thinking about all the innocent people that have died in the last 6 weeks at the hands of what Hamas started on October 7th. I'm thinking about their families. I'm thinking about all the people that were injured, the innocent people that were hurt and injured, and those who lost their lives. My heart is with them, and it's going to be a very difficult holiday season for them. And I want the carnage to stop, but I'm not one of those people that's going to be screaming out on the streets, ceasefire. And the reason why I'm not going to do that is because Hamas has broken how many ceasefires over the course of the last 40 years? They would break another one here. So my heart is with all those people that have lost their lives. Obviously, I want this to end just as much as many others do, but we have to be pragmatic and honest about it. And we have to understand that Hamas is the reason why this war started. It wasn't Israel. They didn't start it.
And, I was thinking about another thing about war and stuff like that. War is expensive. It's not cheap.
Sure.
And to have peace, there's money to be made in all this.
Well, ask Dick Cheney about that one. Yeah. Remember we have weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, Weapons of mass destruction. That was a lie.
We found a firework.
We found
a firework out there.
Don't get me wrong. Saddam Hussein was an evil, murderous dictator, but we found him in the hole in the ground with a pellet gun and a candy bar. He was not a threat to us, that's for sure. But we went in there, and there were no weapons of mass destruction. That was a war based on money. What we should have done is we should have stayed the course in Afghanistan. I'm glad that under Barack Obama, Saddam Hussein was found and killed because he was also an evil, murderous dictator, just like Hamas, who led an organization called Al-Qaeda that was responsible for 9/11. So listen, I'm glad Saddam Hussein was killed. I'm glad we got Osama bin Laden. But sometimes we shouldn't be putting troops on the ground and going into war based on false pretenses that there were weapons of mass destruction. And I do believe our government, and I do believe that George W. Bush and the Cheneys, they knew that there were no weapons of mass destruction. I don't believe that it was faulty intelligence, as some people said. I believe it was a lie and an excuse, and they used 9/11 as an excuse to go to war and go into Iraq. And sadly, hundreds of thousands of innocent Iraqis died. Many thousands of our own soldiers died. And for what? For what?
A lie.
Yeah. The war was based on a lie. This is not a lie, right? This war in the Middle East is not a lie. On October 7th, Hamas decided to butcher a bunch of innocent Israelis and innocent citizens, thousands of them, and they need to pay the price for that. Sadly, some innocent Palestinians have lost their lives and are going to continue to lose their lives. I wish that wasn't the case, but don't blame the Israeli government for defending themselves. Blame Hamas. That's where it should be coming from. The hatred and the anger should be towards Hamas, not the Israeli government.
And, I like the concept of peace. In theory, it sounds great. And we're all holding hands singing Kumbaya. But realistically, that's not going to ever happen in the world.
No, you're right.
It's sad. I wish there wasn't any facts to that. But that's just kind of the nature of the beast, isn't it?
I'm with you. No, you're right. It absolutely is. My man, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving for you and your family. Stay safe out there. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
Hey, Brian, happy Thanksgiving to you, your viewers, listeners, and Nunchuck, all right?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Later. Peace.
So number to call, 702-221-7283. We got a few more minutes here to take some phone calls. And again, that number, 702-221-SAVE. Yeah, there's a lot to think about this holiday season, right? I think about all those that have been gunned down, innocent people that have been killed, not just in the Middle East, but, innocent children, all the mass shootings we've had in this country and the gun violence. I think about that young man who was retired, who moved out here to Vegas with his family and was on a bicycle, and two thugs decided to run him over in their car intentionally. My heart goes out to their family. There's a lot to be thankful for, but, you have to think about those who have lost loved ones too, and those that are struggling, and it's important, right? It's important to want peace, and it's okay to want peace. At the same time, I just don't think a ceasefire is logical, asking Israel for a ceasefire. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to John. John is next on Pushing the Limits. What's up, John?
Yeah, I think the problem with too many people today, they want to push their ideology on everybody else, thinking that's going to work, and it's not. I think that we need to try to find middle ground to live peacefully. We're finding out that if you think you're going to push your religion or your beliefs or whatever you believe in on everybody else, thinking that that's going to work, and pushing your hate and everything on everybody else, it's just not going to work. All it does is cause war and negativity, and it's not going to work. It's just like this political stuff we got going on in America. Everybody they assume so much evil in everybody else just because they don't believe in what they believe in. And it's dividing families and everybody else, and it's wrong. It's caused division in our family and my family. And if you don't believe in what they believe in, then you're the evil. And it's just like in politics. If you don't come to their side, then you're the evil. There's no middle ground anymore. I'm in my 60s, and when I was growing up, there was always some middle ground. And now, in some politicians, there's if you find a middle ground, then you're not on our side.
So, John, let me ask you a question. I don't disagree with you. Let me ask you a question. So I feel like even though Bill Clinton was a sexual predator, one thing I will give him credit for, and it's hard to give a sexual predator credit, but he did do a really good job in reaching across the aisle and working with Republicans. We have had some presidents that have done the same. I personally believe that a big part of what you're talking about, which I agree with, a man who is very much responsible for a lot, not all, but a lot of the divide in this country with political discourse is Donald Trump. I think we have more divide in this country than we've ever had, certainly in my lifetime. And I think Donald Trump gave people a platform for bigotry and hatred to be comfortable in their bigotry and hatred. I agree with you. We need to get rid of extremes on both sides of the aisle. It's not just coming from the right. And if we could get rid of extremes and stop voting extremists in office, then I think it's going to be better for the American people and we'll get things done, right? But until that happens, I think the MAGA Republicans on the far right are a poison to this country. I really do.
Exactly. And there's no reason to talk down. If you're the president and you call people names, no way. And I was raised a Republican, and I voted for the first Republican president. And once they start calling the other side names, I'm done.
Right.
That shows little respect. I will never vote for anybody who wants to run for president or office that calls the other side names.
Yeah.
I lose respect for you completely. I was taught that when you're in the office of any, and you represent me as a citizen, and you want to belittle somebody else and call them name, that just shows you're weak.
I agree with you. Let me
weak,
ask you a question,
and
though.
you do not believe in, you don't belong in the power of authority over me.
Sure.
I don't want anybody who's weak that thinks by calling somebody else names that shows that they have power. No, it shows you're weak.
Yeah.
And you think that shows that you belong in power? No way.
Okay, so I tend to
call somebody names,
I tend to agree with you,
out.
but let me ask you this. I tend to agree with you, but there is a but there. I think there are exceptions. Example, if someone's asked about Vladimir Putin, I don't have a problem with anybody calling him an evil, murderous dictator, right? What do you think of Joe Biden calling some Republicans MAGA Republicans, in a negative tone?
Well, that's the truth, but
right.
they're not calling them fat, ugly,
right.
Something that's belittling.
Correct.
I mean, there's a difference there.
I agree.
I mean,
I'm with you.
There's a
Yeah.
difference between, it's like there's childish name calling.
I
like
agree.
When you call somebody a name like Nancy, evil, some belittling Nancy or belittling some.
Donald Trump has a nickname.
Name,
Donald Trump has a nickname for almost everybody that disagrees with him, and it's so childish and it's so disgusting.
Right.
But yet, there are so many Republicans out there that would still vote for Donald Trump. Listen, I'm not a huge Joe Biden guy, right? But if the election was tomorrow, I don't regret voting for him in 2020, and I would vote for him again. Not because I'm such a huge Joe Biden supporter, because I'm not. It's because I am so anti-Donald Trump. I think he's a threat to our democracy, and he's a wannabe dictator. I don't want Joe Biden to run again, but Joe Biden is not a name caller. He's not that kind of guy. But there are politicians out there that do that, and Donald Trump is the insulter in chief. He did it. He got into the White House, and he continues to do it. It's dangerous. It's wrong. It incites violence, and I'm with you. I mean, we need to have some dignity.
And they can't admit they're ever wrong. So that's the main reason they stick with that guy, because I have people in my family. They will stick with him because no matter what they do, they're like, yeah, I'll vote for him because no matter what he does, he's my guy. No matter, because they can't admit that this guy's wrong, and they're wrong too, so they're never wrong.
Yeah,
and I have people in my family that they're never wrong. They can't admit, I'm wrong. I do stupid stuff. Sorry. I do stupid stuff all the time. I'm like, that was stupid of me.
Right.
But I have family in my family like, I'm not dumb. I don't do stupid stuff. Yes, you do.
I agree.
So come on, man.
You're so right. If you can't admit as a human being that you've ever made a mistake in your life, I feel like I apologize to people every day, John. If you can't, have you ever heard Donald Trump say, man, I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. No, he blames everybody else for his problems, right?
Yes.
Even when he said, do you remember, John, back in the day when he was running for office, when he said, grab him by the P word? So the next day he apologized, and then the day after that he retracted his apology and said he's not sure if that was him on the tape. And then he said locker room talk. The man can't even own up or apologize for anything. I think his father instilled a mental illness in him as a kid, and he is a mentally disturbed man. There was a Democrat in office, and I'm forgetting his name right now. But the other day he made an appearance on Goldman is his name. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. Representative Goldman. And he was asked about Donald Trump. I believe it was an MSNBC or CNN interview. And he used the term, we need to exterminate Donald Trump. Now, that's probably not the greatest choice of words. What he was trying to say was we can't let him be in office again, right? So what did he do? He apologized today. And he said, you know what? I used a poor choice of words. I didn't mean exterminate. That was a poor choice of words. I meant we can't allow him to be a politician again. And he said he was wrong. Why is it that Democrats always seem to apologize when they do something wrong? Even Ilhan Omar, when she made a joke all about the Benjamins, talking about Israel, Democrats demanded an apology. She apologized. Doesn't mean she's perfect. I don't like her. But it seems like today, when Democrats do something wrong or say something stupid, they own it and they apologize, and Republicans seem to double down. We have a guy in office in the Senate who stands up and challenges a witness to a physical altercation, doesn't apologize, doesn't say he was wrong, doesn't say I'm sorry. You know what he does? He doubles down on it. He doubles down on it.
That was so unethical and unbelievable. I'll tell you what. And then if that was a Democrat, they'd be censoring him.
Agree.
They would be censoring.
Look at Al Franken.
They'd be kicking him out.
Look at Al Franken. Al Franken, at the worst case scenario, had an inappropriate photo. He wasn't touching a woman. She was sleeping. It was a borderline inappropriate photo, and Democrats outed him for that. You still got George Santos that is still in office. The guy's lied about how his mom died on 9/11. He's a criminal. He stole all these campaign funds, yet he's still in office. I mean, it's such a double standard between the way Democrats handle things and Republicans.
Right. Well, I was taught as a man growing up, a man admits when he's wrong and he moves on.
Right.
And then he doesn't hold that.
Yep. Oh, you're right.
At one time.
Yeah.
And when you move on, and you shake it.
Yeah. Sounds like your phone is cutting out a little bit, my friend John. Are you there? Are you back? Sounds like your phone was cutting out a little bit there. Go ahead.
Oh, I ran for office, and I also office, and you support.
John, your phone is cutting out, my friend. I apologize. Good phone call. I wish you a happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Got to let you go. You might be in one of those bad Las Vegas areas where there's no phone poles. I don't know. But, John, I appreciate your call, my friend, and I appreciate your honesty. I mean, that's a guy who was raised as a Republican. Let me repeat that. John was raised as a Republican, but he speaks truth. And anybody who speaks truth, I have a tremendous amount of respect for. Thank you so much for the call, John. I wish you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And he's right. You know, we've lost what it is to be a politician and represent others. We've lost that. And it doesn't matter whether you're the president, doesn't matter whether you're a mayor. If you're an elected official, you have to be able to show respect for others, even those that you disagree with. All right, let's take another call. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Cam. Hello, Cam. What's going on?
Hey, was just listening to your radio show this morning. Dude, some great topics going on. Was just concerned, though, that the last caller, John, called in saying how he didn't, believe it was, right to disparage a voter based off their political ideology. What exactly do you call when Hillary Clinton called half the country a basket of deplorables?
So I don't speak for John, but I will say this. There are a percentage of people in this country that I don't believe should be allowed to vote. I think there should be an
half of them?
No, I didn't say half of them. I can only go by what I say. I think.
Well, half of the people in the country voted for Donald Trump, and that's who she was referring to in her statement of basket of deplorables.
No, you're not putting it into the correct context. What Hillary Clinton is, when people say deplorables, it's the ultra far right MAGA Republicans. Very similar statements to what Joe Biden said. Hillary was not saying all Republicans are deplorables. In fact, she never made that statement. She is referring to the alt-right MAGA Republican base, which, by the way, I would agree with that statement. Now, people should be allowed to vote, but I think everybody should have to take an IQ test. I do believe a portion of the far-right MAGA Republicans that have been brainwashed are not very intelligent and very educated people. I think as a country, you should be allowed to vote based on an IQ test, and that's just my personal opinion. I know everybody should have the right to vote, but at the same time, I don't want somebody to vote that has an IQ of 20. That's just my personal opinion. So, no, I just disagree with you there, sir. Hillary, when she used the term deplorable, she's not calling every Republican out there a deplorable, and I would never make that statement. She is calling the far-right ultra-MAGA Republicans, as Donald Trump referred to as, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'd still vote for me. Those are deplorables.
Well, you talked a lot in a short amount of time.
I'm just trying to give you the best answer I can, sir. I'm just trying to be honest with you.
So you don't believe in the Constitution, then? You think we need to have an IQ test to vote?
Well, first of all, there are things within the Constitution that I don't believe in. Things change, people change, And, back when the Constitution was written, I guess under the Constitution, slavery was still allowed. So, no, I don't live my life based on the Constitution. Back when the Constitution was written, we had something called muskets. And now everybody wants to quote the Constitution when it comes to weapons. So, no, I don't live and die by the Constitution. By the way, neither does Donald Trump. He actually said he wanted to rip up parts of the Constitution. I personally believe...
You're comparing the Constitution and the right to vote to owning a firearm and
yeah, isn't that part of the Second Amendment, sir? You're saying nobody refers to the Constitution?
No, it is not.
You're saying
the Second Amendment is about the right to bear arms, not the right to vote.
I understand that, but you said the Constitution has nothing to do with firearms, and yes, it does. In fact, everybody...
No, I asked if you believed in the Constitution because you said that someone needs an IQ test to vote.
Yes,
and that's not in the Constitution.
I understand. I don't believe every word.
Do you think you need an IQ test to migrate to the United States?
No, absolutely not. You should have a background check and make sure you're not a criminal.
To vote when you migrate from the United States.
When you migrate to the United States, you should have to go through a background check, make sure you're not a criminal. We don't want criminals coming into this country. It's not about intelligence. It's about criminality.
Is that happening?
There's a lot of things that are not happening at the border. There's a lot of things that aren't happening that should be happening.
And we need to thank Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Kamala Harris for all those things.
Okay, well, unlike you, I don't make it a Republican versus a Democrat thing. Do you know why, sir? Because we've had
Really?
issues.
Because your whole show is about Republican versus Democrat.
Okay, so, sir, not every issue is Republican versus Democrat. Like when I talk about COVID, I don't like to make it a political issue. When I talk about the border, it shouldn't be a Republican or Democrat issue. It should be an American issue. Everybody's responsible for that. We've had issues at the border for decades and decades and decades and decades. And Republicans and Democrats are responsible. I don't think one side is responsible for all the problems in this country. Maybe you do, but I don't.
Just half the deplorables in the country?
There you go again, making a stupid, idiotic statement. Did I not just explain
You're
to you?
the one that makes stupid, idiotic
What did I say that was stupid or idiotic? What did I just say?
People to call in.
What did I just say that was stupid or idiotic? Go.
The entire segment. Boom.
Nope, didn't say the entire segment. Be specific. What did I say specifically that was idiotic or stupid?
You need
Go.
an IQ test to vote.
Okay, your opinion is that you think anybody should be allowed to vote no matter how stupid they are. I disagree with you.
No, I actually don't. That is your opinion.
Okay.
You're the one that said you need an IQ test to vote.
Think,
that anyone
sir,
should be able to
and
vote
you disagree with me.
That.
Okay, that's a difference. Guess what? That's a difference of opinion, sir. I like sushi. You might not like sushi. That's not a stupid opinion, sir. You see, we just disagree.
You just called me stupid and idiotic.
Because you keep saying, you know why? I'll give you an example why. Because I just, are you going to be quiet and let me answer? Sir, okay, let me correct you again if you won't interrupt me. First of all,
oh my God,
drop him down. Sir, I'm going to talk now. First of all, I'm not a liberal. I'm a registered independent who believes in border security and capital punishment. I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton, and I didn't vote for Barack Obama. So there's another stupid statement, making a judgment about me because I don't like Donald Trump, that I must be a liberal. So you're wrong there. Number two, the reason why I called you dumb, or you made a dumb statement, is because I explained to you what the deplorable comment that Hillary Clinton made. She wasn't calling, and I'm now going to say it for a fourth time because I still don't think you understand. I'll speak slowly and distinctly so maybe you can understand what I am saying, sir. She described the far-right MAGA Republicans who would vote for him if he shot somebody on Fifth Avenue as deplorables. I don't understand what part of that you don't seem to understand, sir, and that's why I called your statement stupid. I asked you what I've said that was dumb or idiotic, and you said you didn't agree with an IQ test for everybody to vote. That's not a stupid, idiotic statement. That's a difference of opinion, sir. I'm not saying something that's not factually accurate like you. Now, I spoke slowly and distinctly. What did I say, sir, that you don't understand? Exactly.
I don't understand your entire rhetoric on how you believe that half of the country can be deplorable.
All right, get rid of this fool. You are a dumbass, sir. Have a nice day. I just explained to you once again. I've explained to you now 5 times, you idiot. 5 times I've explained to you that Hillary Clinton and myself do not believe that half the country are deplorables, but you're not smart enough to understand that. I go around with circles with MAGAs like you. Hillary Clinton said that Not every Republican, as you just said, half the country is deplorable. The far-right ultra-MAGA Republicans that Donald Trump said I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they would still vote for me. That's not half the country. There's a lot of Republicans out there that are not for Donald Trump. And there are some Republicans out there that are not deplorables, sir. We have one coming up on the show. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. How is it that I try to explain something to somebody 6 times and they still don't get it? And then I have people on social media that say, dude, you have Trump derangement syndrome. You have TFS. You know what that is? Trump fellatio syndrome. So have a nice day. You're the one with TFS, okay? Let me tell you something. I'd rather have TDS than TFS. All right, we're going to take a break now and take a deep breath. It's so hard with some of these MAGAs. I have to speak so slowly and repeat things over and over and over again 6 times. You think half the country's deplorable? Oh, my God, how dumb are some of these people? Hillary Clinton never said that, you dope. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take more phone calls. 702-221-7283. That guy was a deplorable, by the way. I'm sure Hillary Clinton would agree with me. John, you're a deplorable. Your whole family is full of deplorables. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. We have somebody in studio coming up next who's not a deplorable. A very reasonable Republican joining us next. His name is Blake Gwynn. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
The Farmer's Burger from Farmer Boys. Beef, bacon, cheese, hand-smashed avocado, and fresh veggies. Best burger champ. That's how we drop the mic. Farmer Boys. Farm food ain't fast food. Farmer Boys' new always crispy fries stay crispier and tastier all the way home. If they make it home. Sharing is caring. Farmer Boys. Farm food ain't fast food.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits here. I want to tell you guys about my good friends at the Postal Annex. They have a notary signing agent on-site daily, no appointment needed, and they offer a full scale of printing services from shipping labels to documents, business cards, banners, photos, and business signage. They're your passport service headquarters. They offer passport photos, and they can renew your adult passports. If you're traveling in a hurry, they can get those passports to you within 7 days or less. Mailbox rentals with a physical street address, and they also receive your packages from Amazon, UPS, FedEx, USPS, and more. Here's the best part. If you're a Pushing the Limits listener, they have an introductory rate of only $39 for a 3-month service. You can't beat it. Give them a call. 702-873-8005. Check them out at 6130 West Flamingo Road. It's the Postal Annex. And tell them I sent you.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Gwynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well, so I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Gwynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Jumpers Jungle Family Fun Center is an indoor children's jump and party space in Las Vegas located at 2050 South Rainbow Boulevard. Kids of all ages can come and jump on our bouncers, race through the obstacle courses, speed down the mega slides, slam dunk into the basketball hoops, and much more. Are you looking for that perfect birthday party venue? Look no further. Jumpers Jungle has a party package that will fit your needs. Check out the open play schedule online at jumpersjungle.com or call 702-463-JUMP. It's time to jump your way to fun at Jumpers Jungle on the corner of Oakey and Rainbow.
The best choice for convenience, comfort, and value, My Place hotels are ideal for both short-term and long-term travelers. The rooms at My Place features pillow-top mattresses, microfiber bedding, and a variety of soft and firm pillows. All extended stay rooms offer their own kitchen, which includes a full-size refrigerator and a cooktop. On-site laundry facilities are also available for extended stays at pet-friendly My Place hotels. Book your stays online at myplacehotels.com. My Place Hotels, St. George and West Jordan, Utah. Make My Place your place.
Shopping is always easy with the Radio Shopping Show. Whether it's shopping during any one of our live shows right here on AM 1400 or listening live on the KSHP app, you can always call in at 702-221-7283 to pick up great deals with your favorite host. Or shop 24/7 at kshp.com. Go to kshp.com and select Shopper's Guide to browse hundreds of businesses featured on the show. Place your order online and we'll have it shipped right to your front door. With so many possibilities, it's hard not to shop.
The Klondike Casino is a friendly local spot that features their signature restaurant, the Klondike Grill, serving up fresh food fast. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner just off the 95 freeway on Sunset Road in Henderson. You will find the Klondike Casino, featuring all your favorite games from the Strip in the comfort of a neighborhood casino. You can place a bet at their full-service sportsbook, or start your day with a breakfast plate that comes with your choice of potato and toast. Or check us out for lunch or dinner and try one of our many sandwiches, like the popular beer-battered fish sandwich or the Philly cheesesteak. Check out the full menu at KlondikeSunset.com.
Is your dog suffering from a sensitive stomach? Hi, it's Kelly the Cookie Lady from Mooch's Munchies. Our dogs had super sensitive tummies and I needed to find a low-fat treat that wouldn't give them gas or other issues. Most of the treats on the market were loaded with fillers, chemicals, and chicken fat. Many of them weren't even food. Well, I knew I could do better, so I developed Mooch's Munchies, and I'm happy to be able to share them with you. Stop by our store or our website, moochesmunchies.com, and find out why we say that Mooch's Munchies are totally pawsome.
Welcome to Hash House A Go-Go, where we've been serving farm food and crafted cocktails for over 2 decades. Visit us for the full Hash House experience at any of our 5 Las Vegas locations. Hash House A Go-Go is where old school meets new and gets twisted. We bring people together over good food and fun. Come in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and come hungry because our portions are huge. Visit us online to see our entire menu at hashhouseagogo.com. Hash House A Go-Go. It's a Midwest thing, and there's nothing else like it.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Wednesday. Tomorrow, Thanksgiving. I hope everybody has a fun time. I'm going to be watching a lot of basketball games, spending a little time with family, and then watching more basketball games. Have a date this weekend. I know, believe it or not, Brian gets dates once in a while. And not a MAGA supporter, by the way. Joining me in studio right now, he's not a MAGA supporter either, but he's somebody that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. His grandfather, of course, the former great governor of the great state of Nevada, Kenny Gwynn, and Blake Gwynn from the Keller Williams Group joining us in studio now. Blake, it's good to see you, my friend, wearing that Bishop Gorman hat, looking spiffy as always. How are you?
You know, I'm fantastic. Shout out to the Gorman Gales for winning state title.
Yes, that's correct.
Not only state title, but national champion, 4th time. Yes, so we were number 1. We, as I'm still there. But Gorman Gales were ranked number 1 going into this last game. So if they dominated like they did Liberty, national champions. And I will shout out to Liberty.
Absolutely.
They had that first quarter and a half. Man, they played
we
real
got our
good.
QB from Liberty for UNLV football, so we got to give them some kudos there as well. Yes.
I was about to come all rebelled up. And I got to tell you, man, Barry Odom's got this team going hot.
National Coach of the Year candidate, no question.
Hands down.
I have some good news for you.
Okay.
I know you enjoy golf just like I do. Well, guess what? The LIV Golf Tour is coming to Las Vegas the week of the Super Bowl. They're going to be playing a tournament at my home course, Las Vegas Country Club.
We going?
LIV Golf.
We going?
Absolutely, we're going.
Okay.
LIV Golf is coming to Vegas.
I just read John Rahm is going to be going to
Oh,
LIV.
yeah. that makes sense. There's too much money involved. It's interesting that the guy who says he doesn't need money and criticizes those talking about money is the guy that's going to be taking the money. Then again, I've never been a John Rahm fan, but Live Golf will be playing their tournament. It's crazy at Las Vegas Country Club.
Love that course.
They're going to tear that course up, though. For the PGA Tour, that's an easy golf course.
Not for me. I've even in
Well,
my
we're not
best days.
professional
I
golfers.
know.
But it's a very short golf course for them. The greens are tough. But it'd be cool to see guys like Dustin Johnson and Bryson DeChambeau playing at Las Vegas Country
I'm in.
Club.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So Live Golf coming to Las Vegas the week of the Super Bowl. Not like we have a lot of other stuff going on that week, but that's going to be super cool.
That's going to be an exhausting weekend. Like we just got done with F1. They still have all that tear down. All that tear down is going to run right into Super Bowl weekend.
Yes.
Man, it's just the holidays here in Las Vegas are cooking. We are the sports capital of the world, everybody.
Oh, absolutely. And I know you went to, I wanted to maybe talk a little bit with you on the air about that you went to the F1. I did not go, but a lot of my friends did go. What was that experience like for you?
So Mike McNamara, my business partner, got 5 VIP tickets in the SiriusXM booth. I got to tell you, when you get free tickets to go VIP, I think any event is really cool. The start of the race, man, it's not as loud as NASCAR. But, I mean, the sheer speed. I mean, these guys, we were sitting right at turn 4, and they're going 170. And that's not even as fast as they were. I think top speed was when they were turning onto the strip. It was 212 miles an hour. But, man, it is something to behold. When you're doing a video of the race, you actually have to do slow-mo so you can actually see the cars. They're going by so quick that you can barely catch, like, what color.
Like 220 miles an hour, right?
It's absolutely insane. But the VIP was some of the best food I've ever had. The steak, they had lobster, they had salmon. I mean, every time I took a sip of my whiskey, I had a new one waiting for me right there. The service was absolutely phenomenal. It was great to I mean, the whole place was packed down there.
Yeah, there was
we were across from Ellis Island.
I like reading about like the celebrities that were down there. You know, Jimmy Kimmel, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, just to name a few. I thought that was really cool. Brad Pitt's, which I didn't even know this until this last week, is filming a new F1 movie. So, you know, that's going to be good. We have all this stuff going on, and I just had the president of the Oakland A's join me on the show yesterday, Dave Cobble.
Yeah.
And interesting because I asked him a lot of questions, and it's a strong possibility that not next year, but the year after, the A's will be playing baseball here. They're not playing in their new stadium until 2028. However, there's a possibility they could be playing at Las Vegas Ballpark.
So that's what I've read, is that they are going to be sharing it. They're actually going to be tearing out the grass and putting in turf. I guess it's too much action for two teams playing on there. I will probably go see a couple A's games there. I'm not born and raised here. I'm not a fan of the Strip. The logistics of getting in and out, and that is the busiest corner on the Strip to go see a game. Seems a little crazy. But I've got friends who are just stoked because they live, minutes away. They're going to go see all the A's games.
Yeah, I'm really stoked for it as well. If you can get that Kim Mulkey audio ready to go, because I wanted to play that for my friend Blake over here. But there's a lot going on in Las Vegas. Certainly the UNLV football game on Saturday is a big one, and I know you're born and raised here.
Yeah.
You're UNLV through and through. As I've said before, Coach Odom should be a National Coach of the Year candidate. If he wins on Saturday, wins the conference tournament game, which would be at home if they win on Saturday.
We're going to that.
There's no question in my mind that Odom should be the National Coach of the Year. It's insane.
Yeah, and the assistant coach, the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
He's up for a couple of awards, too. I did hear that he interviewed with San Diego State for the head coaching job.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Listen, when you have a successful year like that, you're always worried that your staff could be going elsewhere. But if Odom sticks around here, I have no worries. I mean, the guy he's a magician when it comes to getting players to buy into his system.
Well, it's what we loved when he first got here. So the first week, what did we praise him for? He goes right to all the local high schools. And his starting quarterback is a true freshman from Powerhouse Liberty. Rock on, baby. Let's go.
You need a little bit of luck, too. And let's remember that UNLV's number one QB got hurt, Doug Brumfeld. And, I compared it a little bit to the Tom Brady situation in New England years ago with Joe Bledsoe. With Drew Bledsoe, excuse me. In that aspect of Bledsoe got hurt. Nobody knew who Tom Brady was. He stepped in there and he made the most of it. And this kid's been unbelievable.
I thought it was good. What was the gentleman, the wide receiver you had on yesterday?
Jacob DeJesus.
Okay, so listening to him kind of explain kind of the season, how Doug Brumfield, they've got a position pack for him to go out wide receiver, and then they've got one for the other quarterback. The intricacy and the fun that they're having on the offensive side, but the defense is what's winning us these games.
Oh, sure.
To be able to shut down Air Force in that second half, because I'm telling you, watching that first half, I was frightened. I was like,
Yeah.
God dang it, here we go again.
No question. And the fact that, defensively, they're so physical. We haven't had a UNLV football team this physical before.
How many new players are on this team?
Quite a few
I
transfers.
think it's 50. It's almost like Colorado Junior.
The man knows how to recruit. And so the game Saturday is against San Jose State. They're a team that's coming off of 2 wins, 2 good wins. They just beat San Diego State, and they beat Fresno a couple weeks ago. So this isn't a pushover team. UNLV should be okay, but they're going to have to play their game. And if they win, it's incredible. If they win, not only do they win the regular conference season title, but they will play home to either Fresno or Air Force in the conference title game. And they...
How cool is that?
They'll be 10-1. They haven't had a year like this in 40 years, over 40 years, or around 40 years. And then you'd be looking at a bowl game, and not like a crappy bowl game. I'm talking about one of the top probably 10 or 15 bowl games out there. They'd be in a top echelon bowl game. Hopefully it'd either be in California or Arizona so I can go. So this is a monumental year. The person that has the most pressure on them right now, and I was talking about this with some people yesterday, is Kevin Kruger, the UNLV head basketball coach, because you have the women's team that is a solidified top 25 team. They're coming off of a conference title. You have the UNLV football team. We've just talked about them. The UNLV basketball team is a mediocre team, and Kevin, I think, is on the hot seat this year.
Well, we talked about it, about 3-4 weeks ago, that this season is a make or break it.
Right.
The way that this team is playing just got blown out by Richmond. I mean, does he make it halfway through the season?
Yes, I don't think that Harper would pull the trigger in the middle of the year. I think if it's 5th, 6th, 7th in the conference, another mediocre year, I think he probably does.
It's incredibly disappointing because for the longest time, all we had was UNLV basketball. That was Vegas's identity, was the Running Rebels, and it feels like the past decade we've just kind of rolled through coaches. We have no identity since Lon left. We left being a defensive juggernaut. And then we go through different coaches, and we're bringing in players, but man, we just can't produce them. I don't know what's going on, but this whole rotation of many coaches, I'm over it.
Yeah, I'm with it too. I'm rooting for Kevin. He's a great guy. I want UNLV basketball to succeed. All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to take a quick break.
Okay.
And when we come back, it's a mixture of sports and politics because I've played this clip, and I'm going to play it for you when we come back, of the LSU head women's basketball coach really making a mockery of COVID. And I want to play the clip for you and get your thoughts on it because I think if you have a platform, you have to choose your words very wisely, and she didn't do that. So he is Blake Gwynn from the Keller Williams Group. We'll take a quick break. We'll talk about that when we come back. Number to call, 702-221-7283. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits here. I want to tell you guys about my good friends at the Postal Annex. They have a notary signing agent on site daily, no appointment needed, and they offer a full scale of printing services from shipping labels to documents, business cards, banners, photos, and business signage. They're your passport service headquarters. They offer passport photos, and they can renew your adult passports. If you're traveling in a hurry, they can get those passports to you within 7 days or less. Mailbox rentals with a physical street address, and they also receive your packages from Amazon, UPS, FedEx, USPS, and more. Here's the best part. If you're a Pushing the Limits listener, they have an introductory rate of only $39 for a 3-month service. You can't beat it. Give them a call. 702-873-8005. Check them out at 6130 West Flamingo Road. It's the Postal Annex. And tell them I sent you.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Wynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Wynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Welcome to Hash House A Go-Go, where we've been serving farm food and crafted cocktails for over 2 decades. Visit us for the full Hash House experience at any of our 5 Las Vegas locations. Hash House A Go-Go is where old school meets new and gets twisted. We bring people together over good food and fun. Come in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and come hungry because our portions are huge. Visit us online to see our entire menu at hashhouseagogo.com. Hash House A Go-Go. It's a Midwest thing, and there's nothing else like it.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. Programming note for you. We're taking Thursday and Friday off. We're going to be playing a best of segments. And, I hope everybody has a fantastic Thanksgiving, whether you're a MAGA supporter or not, right? We got Blake Wynn in studio from the Keller Williams Group. No better person if you're thinking of buying or selling a home than to call Blake at 702-540-3311. And as I mentioned, Blake joining us in studio. All right, Blake, so a lot to get to here in this segment, but I do want to get your thoughts on this because we have the LSU head basketball coach for the women's team. They won the national championship last year. And there's controversy with Angel Reese because she's been away from the team suspended, and yet the head coach won't say why, won't even say if it's for disciplinary reasons, which I think is absurd.
That's our big center, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's the one who did that whole controversy. I think she's a complete clown. But rumors are that she couldn't even make a 2.0 grade point average, which is pretty pathetic, especially for somebody who's a star on a basketball team. I mean, show up to class, you can't even get like a C average. Like, it's pretty pathetic.
Especially at LSU.
Even I was able to do that in college, but as an athlete. But she's at the podium doing a press conference, coughing and sneezing everywhere. Have a listen to this exchange.
I ain't a sissy. I don't have allergies. I got some kind of cold. It might be COVID, but I ain't tested. No, it's sinus. I don't know what you call it. Allergies, flu. I don't know. So if y'all get the flu, blame me during Thanksgiving, right?
If y'all get the flu, blame me for Thanksgiving. I ain't taking that COVID test. Ha ha. I mean, how stupid do you sound?
Look. In a position that she has, and she represents young student athletes. First off, if you're not feeling well, get out of public. Stay home if you're sniffling and coughing everywhere.
That's a good point.
I don't care if it's COVID, if it's the flu, keep your damn germs at home.
Right.
It's not that difficult. That's why you got Zoom. You could live stream this.
Right.
Now, look, for COVID, I believe now today it is more of a flu. Some people it affects. Zach Walkerly, for whatever reason, he's a healthy guy, does Ironmans. It kills him. COVID absolutely wrecks him. For me, it's literally like a bad case of allergies. For everybody, it affects differently. My mother, who has cancer, affected her pretty badly. It affected you badly.
Right.
So I don't think it's a laughing matter. I think it's something that you definitely have to consider. But going out in public and publicly mocking it, I don't agree with, especially for who she is and what she's representing as young student athletes and a university as well.
Yeah, I think the problem I have is that she's in a leadership role.
Right.
And in a way, she's mocking the vaccination, and she's mocking COVID. If you don't want to get vaccinated, you have the right to do so. But don't, especially when you have a platform, mock it and make a joke about it. And by the way, what an idiot. I mean, you hear what she said at the end? If y'all get the flu, you can blame me. Hey, dummy. maybe you shouldn't be in public and maybe you should have stayed home. How about that? Why don't you care about other people? Like, who the hell does she think she is? You're disgusting. You're sneezing and coughing everywhere. I might have the flu, but if you get it, you can blame me.
You sound like Brian Kelly right now.
But I mean, I don't know. I just think it's so selfish and ignorant.
It's horribly selfish. Again, like we've got family members who are like, I'm not feeling the best. I'm like, well, then stay home.
Yeah.
Stay home for the holidays.
Yeah.
I got 2 young kids. I don't need those kids getting sick because, you know, they go to daycare or preschool, and there's already a petri dish of diseases that come home.
Right.
But, like, if your kid is coughing or whatever, keep them home. Stay at home if you don't feel well. That's why they have work from home. It's why they have Zoom, FaceTime in.
I agree.
And if you're a leader, be a better leader.
You have to be a better leader. I don't care how many national championships she wins. I just think it's despicable. All right, 702-221-7283. I do want to play some Susan Sarandon audio for you, but before we do that, I believe we have Fernando on the line. Fernando, what's going on?
Yeah, hey guys, good show. First off, have a happy Thanksgiving to both of you and to Justin.
You as well. Thank you.
And everybody. And well, okay, UNLV, it's a big game, okay, but the biggest game of the weekend is Michigan-Ohio State.
Oh, sure. What do you make of that? Well, before we give you our thoughts on that, what do you think of the Harbaugh cheating scandal?
I think they got caught. This guy was going all around the country taking signs. He was on the sidelines. He was in the press box.
Is that the kind of guy? Is that the kind of guy you want to be the next Raiders head coach?
No, of course not. Yeah. I don't care who's the Raiders head coach. Can't stand that team. It's a great time.
I'm excited to watch the game. Whether or not you know the calls from the other team, I can tell you right now, Michigan is the more dominant force on the line of scrimmage, and I'm telling you right now, Ohio State cannot do anything, even if Ohio State knew all the calls. This right here is going to be a bloodbath on Saturday.
I think Ohio State will win 27-24, and the Rebels will win 38-25 or something like that.
So if that happens, is Michigan getting in the playoffs?
If they win, well, they still got to play the Big Ten
If Ohio
championship.
State wins, Michigan has one loss, they get into the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they still got to play in the Big Ten championship game.
Right.
Oh no, they'll be out. That's right, they're out. So yeah, they got to win. But I don't know. It depends on these the higher ups in that college football playoff committee. So you never know. But anyway, hey, I'll let you guys go. Have a great weekend. Okay.
Thanks, Fernando. Number to call 702-221-7283.
Bunch of cheaters.
They are cheaters. You know what gets me really frustrated? It's like a lot of people are saying, well, what's the big deal? The players still had to play. You know, we heard the same thing about the Houston Astros, who were a bunch of cheaters. We've heard the same thing about the New England Patriots, bunch of cheaters. Is Tom Brady the best quarterback of all time? Sure. But the whole cheating scandal, I go all the way back to when they were playing the Rams in the Super Bowl. And the Rams, I believe, with Kurt Warner, were favored by 14 points. And the Patriots literally knew every single play in their play calling book.
So I agree with you. Just except from one aspect, between Michigan and the Astros. The Astro players were fully in on it. They were the ones actually making the calls with the trash cans and everything, where I don't think the Michigan players knew, oh, hey, whoever Stallions is over here, and he had all these calls. I think they were just going, okay, great play calling. I don't think that's on the players. So I don't think you can compare the Astros and the Michigan Wolverines, too. I don't think it's a one-for-one.
Perhaps not, but it's still cheating. There were still people within the organization that knew it was cheating, and there are people on the airwaves that downplay that, and I don't downplay it at all. Just like I would never downplay all the players that cheated on steroids in Major League Baseball. Now, with that being said, half the league was juicing, but still, they cheated.
Yeah.
And
baseball cheating, that's a whole that's an hour segment for us to get on.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, the Deflategate, my biggest criticism on Bill Belichick and that whole situation with whether it be the Rams and then they did it again with the Deflategate stuff is that he never really owned up to it and apologized. And that's why I'm not a Bill Belichick guy. It's like, okay, you got caught, apologize to the fans, apologize to the organization, and own it. And he never did that. He never took responsibility. When you're a true leader, I don't care how many wins you have, own it and apologize for it. And Bill Belichick never did that. That was my biggest issue with him. Not that he actually did it, but that he didn't apologize for it. What I would love to see from Jim Harbaugh, and then I will never talk about it again, get in front of a microphone and say, you know what? I did know what was going on. I should have stopped it. I apologize to our fan base. I apologize to, the NCAA and I need to have better judgment, and I made a big mistake, and I'm sorry.
Or better control of your team.
Right. He knew
One of
what
the
was
two.
going on.
You had to have known
Yeah.
what was going on.
Yeah.
There's no way you're getting one of these graduate assistants who's coming through and just making amazing recommendations without something going on. A coach knew, had to have
But
known.
he won't own it.
No,
I
and
guarantee you he won't admit
So
it.
I'm hoping he doesn't get, the Pete Carroll treatment where he gets to come out of this almost scotch-free like Pete did. But I can tell you, I don't think Jim is the right coach for the Raiders.
Who do you think is?
God, I don't know at this point.
If this guy
I really don't
Pierce
know.
wins, 3 or 4 of his next 5 games, what do you say?
Then give it to him. Give him a 2-year contract. Give Pierce this. It seems like the locker room's really supporting him. But you're looking around the league. There's so many up-and-coming new coaches that are going to be fired after this year. You got Frank Wright. Not up-and-coming, but Frank Wright. 1 year, he's going to be one and done. You've got Brandon Staley over in San Diego or L.A. now. He's going to get fired at the end.
How about Coach Odom? That's not going to happen.
Well, we don't need another. I guess that'd be kind of like what's his name going from Gorman to UNLV. I think that
was a big mistake. And by the way, I love Tony Sanchez.
I
Great
love
guy.
Tony too, but
Great
going
guy,
from your first year at UNLV to going right into the pros,
he wasn't
there's
ready.
a huge adjustment.
Where is he right now? He's coaching somewhere, isn't he?
I thought he was in UTEP assistant. He's an offensive coordinator, I think, like UTEP or something.
Tony is a great guy. I like him a lot, but he just didn't get it done here. Wins, but he certainly got it done from a facility standpoint and what the Fertittas were able to do. You have to give him a lot of credit for that.
Absolutely.
Much better coach than Coach Arroyo. I will also say that. But what's up?
Sanchez is at New Mexico State.
Oh,
I was somewhat close.
He's a wide receivers coach.
Good. I'm glad for Tony. I'm glad
I
he's.
was 90% close.
He might get another opportunity one day to be the head coach.
60% of the time, it's right every time.
You were pretty close. You were pretty close there. He might get an opportunity to be a head coach again one day. But I wish him the best. But yeah, it's an exciting time. I mean, it's an exciting time to be a sports fan. Going back to what I played earlier, I did want to. I don't know. Are you a Susan Sarandon fan, by the way? I never even asked you.
1, no. 2, I just read that her record or whoever, her agency dropped her.
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
I don't understand why, and again, this is where I fall back with certain politicians as well. It's this perceived power. You're an actress. I don't give a about your opinion, especially when it's so vastly wrong.
Unless it's helping people, like charity work or stuff like that, right?
Well,
let me play some audio for you.
Go for it.
And let me preface
gets
it
me
by
riled
saying,
up, man.
when Susan Sarandon back in the day, when Bernie Sanders was running for president, boy, this had to be 2016. I had Susan Sarandon on my show. She was, and I still have the interview online, she was supporting Bernie Sanders, and she was traveling with him. And I said, okay, fan of her movies and great actress. And she seemed very eloquent and very intelligent. And we had a nice long 30-minute interview. And we had a good time. And I really have had a lot of respect for her. Her statements like this one at some of these rallies have been absolutely absurd. Have a listen to this.
There are a lot of people that are afraid of being Jewish at this time and are getting a taste of what it feels like to be a Muslim in this country, so often subjected to violence.
When she makes a statement like that, she is making the case that Jewish people don't know what it's like to be the victim of violence. Has she heard of the Holocaust? She has absolutely no idea what she is talking about. And it's so despicable and so complicit, her statements.
See, this is, again, what I don't understand. Why is anti-Semitism so cool right now? It's like the new trend that it's okay. And I don't see the media or enough public people condemning this. You can be both pro-Israel and pro-Palestine and condemn Hamas at the same time. Yet none of these people are. The entire time, all I see, celebrities are just anti-Israel.
Right.
And it is, I don't understand it, and the backlash is not there.
Well, I think it's ignorance and not having the right information, and clearly Susan Sarandon doesn't understand what's happening. And I always ask these people or tell these people to start one of these conversations about Israel. We have to all agree that Hamas is a terrorist organization, and they butchered a bunch of innocent people. Then we can have the conversation on how we should or shouldn't think Israel should handle it. But there are a percentage of people in this country that are not even willing to speak out on it and admit that Hamas is a terrorist group.
Correct.
It appears to me that Susan Sarandon is one of those people, and it's really, really bad.
Look, I mean, there's nothing good about war, but what I've seen from multiple videos is I've seen Palestine people cheering Hamas, driving around decapitated bodies that they, from the festival. I don't see that happening in Israel.
No, it's not.
I don't see the IDF driving around and the Israel people cheering on a dead Palestine.
Right.
I don't see that. It's only one side I see.
Well, because it's not happening. Now,
not.
listen, are innocent people, Palestinians dying? Of course, thousands of them, and it's terrible. But we need to understand why this is happening. The Israeli government is not trying to wipe out Palestinian people. The Israeli government is trying to wipe out Hamas. There is a difference there. In war, innocent people are going to die. Hamas has no regard for human life. They want to kill as many innocent Jews as possible, but they also use Palestinians as human shields.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of misinformation going on, and I'll give you a perfect example of that. So there is an agreement between Hamas and the Israeli government so that 50 innocent Israeli hostages can go home. And in return, the Israeli government's releasing 150 prisoners. Now, if you go on social media and listen to some people, they'll lead you to believe that those were 150 innocent kids and mothers. That's not true.
Correct.
These were prisoners that were convicted of crimes. Okay? Some of them are terrorists. The 50 people that Hamas captured were innocent men, women, and children. There is a distinction there. But again, if you listen to these idiots with misinformation, they would lead you to believe that these are innocent women and children, and the Israeli government did the exact same thing that Hamas did. Wrong. That is not factually accurate.
If Israel today were to put their guns down, Hamas would wipe them out.
Absolutely.
If Hamas were to put their guns down right now, there'd be peace. Hands down, that's a fact.
Why do so many people want a ceasefire and they don't understand that Hamas has broken ceasefires for decades and decades? Do they not understand the history?
For some reason, they think a terrorist group is going to be like, oh, man, my bad. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's have some peace. That's not what Hamas is there for. They've had decades and billions of dollars that have come in that region to, one, make that a place of paradise.
Right.
They haven't built infrastructure. All they've cared about is war. That's all Hamas has done in Gaza. That's it. They've had an opportunity.
Yeah.
And they've chose war over their own civilians.
You're right. And it doesn't really make any sense to me, unless you're anti-Semitic, to understand that there are 50 countries around the world where Muslims can pray, they can be Muslims, they can live in freedom, and they can do what they want. 50 countries.
Mm-hmm.
The people of Israel, they have one small country, one small piece of land. And if the argument that I hear from some morons are Israel is committing genocide, if that was the case, then why is it that over 1 million Palestinians live in Israel with the freedoms to do what they want? If Israel wanted to wipe out Palestinians from the face of the earth, why is it that over 1.2 million Palestinians live free
You mean
in
why
Israel?
wouldn't they just start in their own country and wipe them
Yeah,
out?
it
and
doesn't
then,
make any
just
sense.
slowly move forward?
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense because it's not a reality.
Right.
So-
Right. It's not a reality. And it's a lot of the hatred and a lot of the anger comes from misinformation. Same thing with COVID and the masks and the vaccines and all that stuff. It comes from misinformation. And that's why I try to call it out, and I try to call it out on this show every single day. It's blatant misinformation. I'm glad that most Americans in this country, both Republican and Democrat, I'm glad that both sides of the aisle support Israel. I'm happy that that's the case, but there are always a percentage of people, extremists, that believe that Israel should cease to exist, and I will do everything I can to call out those individuals every day on this show, because it's wrong, man.
Good.
It's wrong. Anyway, it is the day before Thanksgiving. We should end the show on a high note. I would imagine you're going to be spending the day tomorrow with your family, eating some turkey, watching some football, I would hope.
Watching football, not eating turkey. I'm not a turkey guy, never have been, so we do ham. I've got half the family. I've got the wife's family coming over tomorrow. Apparently, my other side of the family's going to come over for like happy hour. We'll see. I'm incredibly thankful for my wife and my 2 kids. They make me the man I am today. My little daughter, man, that's my little angel. Whew, that girl. I'm also thankful for you, man, for having me on the show and being a good friend. I really appreciate it.
Of course. I feel the same about you.
Not for Numchuck.
I feel that, there's a lot of divide in the world, especially in this country right now, but this is a time where we need to spend time with our families enjoy one another. Life is very, very short. I've learned that the hard way over the course of the last year, that's for sure. And, it's a time just to enjoy one another and try to have a good time. Life is short, like I said. So I decided to take the next couple days off.
You're taking tomorrow off?
You believe it or not, I'm taking Thanksgiving off. Can you believe that?
I can't.
I know. I'm taking Thanksgiving off. I'm also taking Friday off. So I'll be back on Monday. But if you want to know what I was doing, so there's so many of these college basketball tournaments in town. They got a college basketball tournament in Henderson at the Dollar Loan Center tonight. I watched Rick Pitino Jr. and his New Mexico Lobos win yesterday. There's some more games tonight. And then tomorrow, Bobby Hurley's in town. Arizona State versus BYU tomorrow night.
That'll be a good game.
At Michelob Ultra Arena. That's going to be a great time. There's another tournament there that's going to be Thursday and Friday. And, of course, the UNLV football game on Saturday. I believe the game's at noon as they play San Jose State. Listen, there's some people on social media and people on the airwaves that think that are asking for $60,000, which doesn't make any sense to begin with because they don't even open up the upper bowl. If we could just get the lower bowl filled up.
You can get 10,000 people to show up.
Right. Asking for 60 is ignorant.
Which would be a record for probably the past decade.
Yeah.
It would be so amazing. And then you win that game outright tournament, or outright conference winner, and then we go play for the conference championship.
Right.
Which we've never held the Mountain West Conference. I don't think we did the Big West. God, what else? WAC. I don't think we ever won the WAC. We didn't even win anything when John Robinson was here.
No. Randall Cunningham days were pretty good.
Yeah, well, those were good, but that was so long ago. I wasn't even alive.
The Suge Knight days.
Oh, God. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I hope that UNLV basketball can pull their heads out of their you-know-what. Rooting for the women. I'm going to be taking my daughter to a lot of the Lady Rebel games.
What happened to the men yesterday? They got blown out.
By
an average to below average team. That just can't
happen. It was Richmond, I believe.
Yeah, that's not – I mean, listen.
It was like 25 points.
They're preseason like third or fourth, I think, in their conference. But Richmond is not exactly what you would call a powerhouse basketball
I didn't get
team.
to watch the game. We were at Enchant last night at the Las Vegas Ballpark. We were there for the soft opening.
Oh, that must have been fun.
Yeah, it's a really cool experience, especially if you have kids. But, walking around, I get the alert, man, blown out. And it's just like – man, I think, what are we, 1-4 on the season right now? Somewhere around there?
2-3, I think, right? Aren't they 2-3?
But those 3 losses have not been close. They've all been blown out.
And they lost to Southern. That's the
one.
That was
the first game, and that was a blown out too.
That's the one that's going to come back to really haunt them. But listen, they are what I said they were at the beginning of the year, and I'm going to hold to it. They're an average team in the Mountain West Conference. Not the greatest conference in the world. I know how good San Diego State is. Boise State's pretty good. New Mexico's not bad. I watched them play last night. New Mexico's a better basketball team than UNLV.
How is Boise State better at basketball than we are?
Listen, Leon Rice is a pretty good coach, but I'm with you.
We have way better facilities.
It looks like you're wearing a Boise State hat, by the way.
No, never. Never.
The answer to that question is bad coaching. If you want the honest answer. Bad
I agree with you.
decision-making,
That's what I was waiting for.
Bad hires, bad coaching. Leon Rice is a decent coach, and there's no excuse why we shouldn't be just as good, if not better, than a San Diego State every year. And listen, Coach Dutch has done a phenomenal job. Their run to the NCAA tournament final game was very, very impressive. He's a really, really good head coach, and he's got a good staff.
They've done better than Gonzaga in the tournament.
Yeah, I believe that. San Diego State wins basketball games, and Dutch reminds me a lot of Lon Kruger and the way he coached here, in that, always one of the top teams in the league, defense first.
Physical.
Yeah, physical, defense and rebounding. Dutch is and that's a great model on how to win in the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah.
And that's why Lon Kruger was able to do that. Kevin, is struggling a little bit. Before we go, give out that information, my friend. How can people hit you up if they're looking to buy or sell a home?
You're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate in Las Vegas. My name is Blake Gwynn. I'm with Willow Manor at phone number 702-540-3311. And a shout out to my Willow Manor family. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Blake, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, my friend. Eat. I know you're not a turkey fan, but don't eat too much. Got to watch the
Scotch ham and football, baby.
Yes. Well, enjoy time with your family, as I will do the same, my friend.
Yes.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate you supporting what I do here. I always will, and our friendship. And I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And go Bishop Corman. All right. Looking forward to Blake's next poker tournament, by the way. I got to win one of these things. I got to win one of these charity events. But thanks for joining us, everybody. even my MAGA supporters out there, I hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And we'll be back live on Monday. Have a great, great Thanksgiving, everybody. Have a great day.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn?